is not saying they won't devour you. He is saying don't get caught off guard. That's why the Bible says in 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant. Your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. Don't get caught off guard. Don't walk around and let somebody hit you and you don't know that it was coming. He's saying, be aware of the fact now that a persecution is on its way. Tell your neighbor, be aware. Come on, tell your neighbor, watch the people that hang around you. In other words, you ought not be surprised. The reason why you are surprised is because you get close to folk and you let your guard down. Jesus said, I send you forth, but I also send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. You already know that there are folk that are going to devour you. So you ought to expect it to happen. And since we are expecting it to happen, we never let the affliction cause us to miss out on the glory that is ahead. In other words, I never lose sight of the fact that the abuse, the ridicule, the rejection, and all the negativity that I face is a part of the process that I'm going through. But in the end, the glory that I'm going to receive and the blessings that I'm going to receive will outweigh the persecution that I go through. I can't deal with church. I can't deal with people in church, Bishop, because people in church talk about folk. They talk about you on your job, but you don't stop working. You have to expect the persecution. I expect some folk to not like something. I expected some people to have issues with some stuff. I expected some folk to say, why did you build a balcony? I expected people to ask, why did y'all choose blue? I expected people to ask, why don't you have chairs behind the pulpit? I expect that. That's the part of the process. But you never let the persecution cause you to abandon your God assignment. Your assignment is from God, and the persecution is a part of the process. And I am called to press my way forward. That's why David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil because God is with me. I know that the devil is there. I know evil is there, but I am required to move forward in spite of the persecution because the Lord is with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Watch what David said. If you keep pressing, he'll prepare before you in the presence of your enemy a table. In other words, he'll bless you while they're looking at you. He'll bless you while they're talking about you. He'll promote you while they're scandalizing your name. He'll give you a new house while they're talking about where you come from. You got to know how to press your way. Come on, sit down, please. He said, expect it. Tell 3 people around you, expect it, expect it. He says, look here. I send you forth as sheep among wolves. Therefore, be balanced. Be wise as a serpent, humble as a dove. Be shrewd, but be innocent. There's nothing kind about a serpent. Wise as a serpent, maneuver quickly, quietly, with caution and intelligence. Be quick to see danger, quick to escape, quick to respond. Even deal with the opportunity to strike when it arises. But be humble as a dove. Don't cause damage. Be a symbol of peace and purity. Be quick to deal with the issue. Quick to stand up and address it. Wise, but humble. Don't be afraid to strike, but don't hurt nobody. Huh. Don't be timid, but don't be too boisterous either. Be wise and humble. Keep your eyes open. Look for them. As a matter of fact, like a snake, you keep your eyes watching. Yeah. But when it's time for you to address something, don't wound the soul. Who? That's tough for all of us. Now, I don't know nobody in here that has mastered that. If you master that, then you need to teach like Jesus. We're all yet in the process, am I right? Anybody in here that's not in the process, you have mastered being wise as a serpent, but humble as a dove. Look what Jesus is saying now. He said, we're called to be shrewd and innocent at the same time. That's why I read from the New Living Translation. The adjutants are smiling at me. We had a conversation yesterday, and I did all I could to talk around what they were saying without talking to it because I had to preach on it. And they were all up in my sermon, and I couldn't tell them. Be shrewd, but be innocent. Now, most of us don't understand being shrewd. That's nasty to us. He's not saying you have the right to cuss nobody. He didn't say that some of y'all don't cuss, but you're so nasty with your words, you might as well cuss them out. Some of y'all don't cuss and you're not nasty with your words, but the way you look. You just look evil. You better go ahead and smile. It doesn't mean to be shrewd means that I can strike whenever I want to. Because when you look at the History Channel and you look at a lot of things, most of the time that the snake is not moving around just striking at anybody. Most of the time the snake is trying to get away. But when back in the corner, I'm not going to fold under pressure. Now, I'm not trying to put down what you do. I'm not trying to criticize you. But if you keep on pressing me, and you keep on pushing on me, and you keep on talking junk. Now, I know you living together, and you ain't married. I ain't trying to expose you, but if you keep on putting down married folk, I might have to come out like a serpent and be humble as a dove and tell you what you're doing isn't right. Now, you ain't going to be shackled up talking about, that's why I don't get married. No, it's best for you to leave me alone now. I'm not giving the authority to come after you, but if you back me in the corner, y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Let me move on. We ought to be balanced now. Demonstrate the ability to be shrewd-minded and soft-hearted. That is, to be direct with love and compassion. Jeremiah 9 verse 5 says that this society is wicked. They are fool and defraud. They fool and defraud each other. No one tells the truth. With practiced tongues, they lie. They wear themselves out with all their sinning. In other words, we deal with a generation where people don't want to tell the truth. They don't know how to be wise as a serpent, but humble as a dove. Ephesians 4:15 says, speak the love in truth. In other words, don't be afraid to be balanced. I'm not messing with you, but I'm not afraid of you at the same time. Just because I don't say nothing to you about your issue doesn't mean that I don't have an issue with you. I just know how to be wise as a serpent, but humble as a dove. And I'm trying to tell some of y'all, don't you take the humility of folk up in here for weakness, and don't take them as being stupid, because if you push some folk up in here, they will make sure you know where they stand in Jesus. Just because they're quiet doesn't mean that they don't have the boldness. If you back them in a corner, my first church backed me in the corner. My deacons, they wanted women to come up to the front and apologize when they have babies out of wedlock and they get pregnant. I said, I will implement that as soon as y'all stand up first. I said, y'all got some folk walking around here that look just like you. And the rumor mill say, y'all ain't with me. I told you they backed me in the corner. The rumor mill said they belong to you. Well, let's get your issue clear before we deal with theirs. They said, Bishop, you meddling. I said, that's right. You meddling in their business and I'm meddling in yours. You back up off of them, I back up off of you. Don't back nobody in the corner, because if you back them in the corner, I heard Deacon Porter teach this lesson before, talking to some young folk and some older people. He said, look, when I was an officer, I learned how not to back nobody in the corner, because if you back them in the corner, they don't have any other choice but to come out fighting. He said, look